Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Dr. Jeff Seamay, and welcome to another episode of Doctor's Orders, advice you should actually take. Thank you guys so much for listening today. And in today's episode, we're gonna hit you square in the forehead because this is something that hit me very directly, and something I want to share, something that came across and violated my core values. And so I wanted to share this. Inevitably, the things that upset us in life, it's good to take somewhere. I tend to take them to my podcast. So here we are in the studio, 150 Eldorado Drive, Jordan, Minnesota. In case you want to send us some fan mail, go ahead and throw that in the mail. I'll be sure to get it. But in today's episode, the title of this is going to be "The World Will Make You a Liar." The world will make you a liar. Now, how did this start? Okay, so it was 1 day ago. It was 1 day ago, and like many people, at some point in the beginning of the week, you're going to open up your email. So I, in turn, opened up my email, went through it, and then shortly thereafter, I believe, it was an email, and it was a marketing company. Now, kudos to marketing companies. I agree. They're, like in any business, you got to get your services out there. You got to let people know what you do. But there's an honest way. There's an honest and ethical way of going about it. Myself being involved in healthcare for 14 years, there's an honest and ethical way. And let's be real. There's a BS liar so full of it, your eyes are brown, if you know what I mean, so to speak, way of going about it. So I opened up this email, and this email said, I think I deleted it, but it said something like this: "Hey, we're working with SoftWave providers," which we were the first ones in Minnesota to have this tissue regenerative therapy called the SoftWave device. I think there's only 7 in the state. That's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that, hey, we're working with SoftWave providers. We have 20 new patients right now ready in your area that want to come to your clinic. Now, immediately, I was triggered. Immediately, I'm like, you are so full of it. And I looked at it, and it was the name of the company, something pear. It was like a fruit or whatever. I don't know. And so I emailed them back. And I said, prove it. I go, if you have 20, why don't you have 19? Why don't you have 21? Like, think about this, you guys. You have 20 new patients. What are their names? So I immediately replied to this email. I said, hey, what are the names of these new patients you want to send into my office? Because if you don't have the names, you're a liar. And can you see the distrust from the beginning? You're asking me to market with your company, and you start off with a lie. So that was lie number 1. Shared it with my team, emailed them back. Of course, I have not got a response, nor do I expect a response from such a cold and pathetic and worthless business tactic. Absolutely pathetic. So then I got thinking even more. Today, come to the office, working on a few things behind the scenes. Here's what else happened. So Tamra in our office, amazing team member. All our team members are unreal. Blessed to work with them for sure. She sent me this picture, and I want to see if I can. Well, essentially, I'm gonna describe the picture since you guys are listening. I know some of you guys are watching. I could show you the picture, but it says all dads rocking dad bods, stand up. We finally got our own mannequin, and it's a picture of a mannequin. In stores, you've seen these in storefronts, and it has the beer belly and the bigger person. Now, before you go off and get triggered on this, I want to say it's not the mannequin I have an issue with. It's not the mannequin per se. However, I did a little research, and I started coming across clothing companies that are literally designed and built t-shirts to fit the bigger style guy, the guy that to hide his beer gut. That's part of the marketing strategy of some of these companies. Now, here's why I believe they are marketing a lie. Because they will market this and say, hey, it's okay, it stops there. Now, I'm going to be really clear up front. Let me start with this. If you're a dude out there, if you're a lady out there, I don't care. And you want to wear clothing that's more appropriately fitted to your body style, that's awesome. There's a difference between that on your journey of becoming healthier and a better version of yourself, for sure, than using that as a reason or a crutch to say I'm healthy. Because we see this all the time. And here, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole a little bit more. Stay with me on this one. Because what we'll see is that people will change their clothing. They'll change, so many things in their life. the bed that they sleep in, the car seat, like the car seat. I'm saying, like, if you get bigger, you can move it back. Like, we have all these things to adapt, which I don't think is a bad thing, obviously, because guess what? There's just going to be bigger people in the world. There's not. But it's when we make all these things that justify us being overweight, out of shape, and we don't do anything about it. See, there's the problem. There's the lie we tell ourselves. The lie we tell ourselves in this is that I can put on a t-shirt and look better, but yet underneath, I'm still at a higher risk for heart disease. I'm still at a higher risk for cancer. I'm still at a higher risk, let's be real, for every single cause of death that's out there. That's right. Being overweight takes 10 years off your life. Obesity is not healthy. It never has been and never will be. And if that pisses you off when I say that, then you need to ask the question. You need to go back to the beginning of this episode and ask yourself, why does that make me mad? Because it doesn't have anything to do with me. Listen, I've had many members of my family go through obesity challenges, and I've watched my grandfather die because his kidneys failed him. He lost all the toes on his feet towards the end. He was type 2 diabetic towards the end. His body literally was slowly decaying and dying by disease, by a lifestyle disease for, probably like the past 20 years of his life, before he passed away. And so the lie that the world tells us is that we can put on a shirt, we can make adaptations, we can make justifications. I'm not even going to call them adaptations. I'm going to call them justifications for not getting healthier, for not pursuing something that's actually going to better us. Because you know what? That's a lot of work. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I'd rather sleep in. We've got so many comfort levels. And here's the other rub. Here's the lie. This is why the world will make it so easy for you to lie, is because your world is mostly what you view through social media. Your worldview comes from the things around you. All right. So stay with me on this. So your worldview shapes your actions, your decisions, your beliefs, all of these different things. And the feed, like, I love this term, the feed, what you're feeding yourself every day is a lie. Here's why. Filters, editing, Photoshop, all the people that you probably look up to and admire, they have their own pains. They have their own deep, dark secrets. They're lying to themselves every time they have to edit their photos so much so that they get the likes, so that we've become accustomed and addicted to being approved by other people. Do you see where this is going? If you were having a conversation, if you were a parent, for the parents out there, if you were having a conversation with your child and they're saying, hey, I just want the other kids to like me, where do you go with that? Where do you start to talk to them? Do we start teaching that at a young age, that you want to get the likes? How many viewers do you have? How many subscribers do you have? All while at the end of the day, that adds up to jack squat. It means jack squat, because the thing of it is that what you know about yourself, what you've come to learn about yourself. When was the last time you got on your knees and prayed to God and said, God, who am I? Or are you too afraid to say that? Are you triggered by the word God? Are you afraid to face truth, or are you consistently content? Are you consistently content with feeding off the lies of the world? Because guess what? You can take that poison in. You can have that slow rotting death from the inside out, but eventually things are going to blow up in your face when it comes to that, and you absorb these lies long enough. So what's the lesson in it? Listen, the world's a liar. The world inevitably is a liar. The world has become okay and accepted the fact that you can lie. Politicians lie all the time. You don't think we're being lied to currently right now with our administration? You don't think the administration before that had lies? You don't think the administration before that had lies? Let me just say one thing for those of you old enough to remember. And this is a quote, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Where'd that come from? Truth or a lie? It was a lie. Politicians, no matter what side of the aisle on, they're okay with lying to you. So what do you do with that? How do we apply this? You have to start putting truth in place. If you don't start teaching your children truth, the world will fill them full of lies. That came from a coach of mine earlier in the week, and it just resonated with me. If you're not willing to stand up and teach the truth to your children. Now, where do we start with the truth? Well, the only truth, the true, real truth that I know is the Bible. That's it. Now, that'll trigger plenty of other people and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, you have to have something rock solid that you can stand on and be able to move through and make decisions. Otherwise, you are going to be constantly at the whim of the next marketer that's going to send you this cold call email telling you they've got 20 new patients ready to come to your office, which is an absolute BS bold-faced lie. Or you're going to jump to the next thing and you're going to put on a certain style, a certain cut of clothing that's going to hide the fact that you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, even 100 pounds overweight. And you're going to lie to yourself telling you you're healthy. You're going to lie to yourself. You're saying, hey, I just put it on. It's good. I don't have to go for a walk today. I don't have to do these things for myself. Therein lies the rub. And that's the most frustrating part in all of this, is that we have to wake up every morning and be ready to seek out the lies and call them for what they are. Now, you can do that with love. It doesn't mean you go up to people and be like, dude, you're fat. If you looked in your mirror lately, like you're lying to yourself. You need to get down and give me 20 push-ups right now. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if we don't have the hard conversations with ourselves and find out real truth and start applying it to our lives, then we are all doomed. We are all doomed, because you know what? Our lives affect one another. As much as we like to think, my decisions are my decisions, and I'm gonna have this opinion. It's my opinion. Yeah, you can have your opinions, but realize that opinions mix and match. The world has mixed and matched. Social media has mixed and matched, and it's all come down to the fact that it's one big soup of lies. So, my suggestion to you: sit down sometime today and write out this question. And I recommend you start with the word God. Because if you haven't talked to him in a while, he's been waiting to talk to you. And so my suggestion is you say, hey, God, what are the lies that I've been fed that I believe to be true? And start writing and see what happens. You'll be amazed. See, the people who do these things, I get emails and I get comments every single week of people who actually do doctor's orders, who actually take the doctor's orders that we give in this podcast, and it changes their life. And so if you're sitting there right now and you're stuck and you're in pain and maybe you're on the brink of divorce, maybe you can't stand your kids, maybe you want to drive your car off the end of the cliff, I'm going to tell you, don't. Remember this: do not make permanent decisions over temporary situations. This too shall pass. We understand that good times come and bad times come, and they all come from God. And we have to realize that life is a classroom where just because we're older than we were the year before, it doesn't mean we go on to the next grade. There may be some lessons in your life that you've been sitting there facing, looking in the mirror, and I get these messages all the time. Dr. Jeff, I know I needed to be a chiropractic patient in your office. I know I've needed to do your reset program. We get this all the time. People drive hours and hours away to my office. We just had one of the top, if not the top, soccer player in the world for his age in my office for the last 3 days, getting care in my office. Now, why isn't that all over my social media? Because that's not the point. I took a picture with him and my 2 boys, and that's all that I needed, was to help make my boys a day, because they knew who he was and they knew who he is, and now it's like their favorite player. So not to get this too sidetracked, I want you to sit down and I want you to start off and just say, hey, God, what are the lies I've been believing in my life to be true? And start writing. That's your homework. That's your doctor's orders. That is going to take you farther than you can ever imagine. And that is advice you should actually take.